Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin, helping understand, what's going to happen next. We have some insane price points for Bitcoin compared to previous points here, and we want to kind of look and see if that's sustainable or not. All right, so we're going to look at traditional markets, handful of other things kind of factoring in, and kind of compare it with some other alts as well that are usually somewhat of a mirror image, but there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of money coming in the market, and Bitcoin dominance is on the rise, and alts are increasing too. That shows us we have a lot of new money. Either way, if you are new to this channel, keep in mind I love teaching people to trade. I really hope you can learn something here today, and if you do, obviously comment below, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, consider becoming a community member. We've got an amazing group of people. You can register here, of course, for my community there. We've got almost, I think, a little over 1,000 community members here currently in our Discord as well. But if you want to check this out, take a look at some of these signals that we've taken. We've got a good 95% from Bitcoin in 20 days, another 95% from Bitcoin in 3 days. That was the most recent trade we took. And then, of course, we take a look here, like Litecoin, 113%. That took us about a month, but hey, I'm okay with 113% in a month if you are. I don't know about that. But again, keeps going on. Ethereum, 152% in 23 days. So, there's no doubt that a lot of profit has been taken, and we had to be patient for some of it. But what's great about the current market is there's a lot of opportunity now to take more profit. So keep that in mind. Just bear in mind too, also we're using the best exchange in the country, $10,000 price pool monthly for Bitget. And I said country, I actually misspoke, it's the world, but likely your country if you're using it, right? They have an awesome situation where they provide my members with a prize pool every month. Just a healthy little competition based on trading volume and profit and loss ratio. So if you want to be part of that, link down below, but also send me your user ID if you are already registered with Bitget and you want to qualify for that. You do get 3 months extra free for ExpressVPN as well. Just to kind of throw it out there, let you know that we've got you covered, and thank you so much Express and Bitget for just helping my community be a lot easier and more user-friendly. So taking a look here at Bitcoin, we're overextended and then some. Let's take a quick look at some histories as well, just kind of give you perspective. But take a look here, we can see a 9er on TD sequential plus 4 extra days. So these 4 days, I wouldn't say shouldn't have happened, but it should have went sideways and then up. But we're here now, right? And that's really just a lot of it has to do with the new money coming in the market. You see how much more volume we're seeing right now. That volume is comparative to back when we had an FTX issue, right? So when FTX was selling off, we had about almost the same amount of volume coming in and out of the market. So that is a very positive sign. That does help us understand that this should sustain its price point. I'm speculating 18,300, 18,400 will likely be the new support level, and we shouldn't see much lower than that in the immediate future. Obviously, time will tell, but that should hold up as a strong support as well. Furthermore, before you kind of take a quick look at the history, let's look at simple moving average as well, and take a look here as well. You can kind of see we're almost soon to test that. So my speculation is that 19,500 is a strong resistance level, and we're going to probably reject out at that point. Okay. So again, just kind of a thought there. So here's the big picture. Let's take a quick look here at kind of everything. And what we want to kind of identify, of course, is, well, first of all, the amount of volume that's in here. Look at how much more volume there is now than before. So that's interesting to see, because obviously that's buying and selling volume. That's money coming in and out. But generally speaking, we have a lot more volume now than we did before, even when we had all this crazy volatility. So that leads me to believe that there's a lot more money in the market in the overall sense of things, and that the price action could and very well should continue higher in the overall sense here. We're going to hit some resistance levels, there's no doubt about it, but we should likely continue as well. All right, so again, I do think we're due for a correction here, but all corrections aside, there's a great chance that we're going to see a continuation of the upside. I don't think it's going to be as parabolic as we're hoping for, but obviously we approach that with open arms, right? So what I wanted to show you though is when it comes to like RSI, for example, let's just take a quick peek at that. Because again, RSI is right here at about 85. Last time the RSI was at 85 was January of 2021, when Bitcoin went from 30,000 to 64,000 in roughly 3 months. Okay, so I'm not saying that we're going to see that price point again moving forward. That doesn't necessarily imply that. It just implies that the price action, as a result, back in January, look at what happened after the price hit 85 and continued back down. It had a pretty massive correction. It may not seem like a lot, but look at this. That is almost a 30% correction in roughly about 3 trading days. Okay, so that being said, where we're at right now, I don't think we're going to see a 30% correction, because that would be just crazy nonsensical. But we are due for a correction, and the likelihood of it coming back down would seem high. Keep in mind, it may not happen tomorrow. It'll slowly peak out. What we're looking for is a couple of days consolidation, maybe a couple of doji candles, and then the price will likely reverse from there. Even though it'd be nice for Bitcoin to consolidate and leg up again, we're facing a significant resistance here, and I think that's going to hold, at least the initial attempt. Because if you look at the 200-day simple moving average, another perspective, take a look at the last time it was tested. We rejected out 3 days in a row here in March, if you recall. That was the last time Bitcoin was in the 40,000 mark, or 48,000, and it continued lower ever since. Okay, so we have not seen a higher low, essentially, or correction, a higher high since then. All right. So anyways, that said, that's kind of the big picture. That's important to know going into this trading, because obviously if you're going to just jump right in, it's easy to want to do that. It's also something you want to do cautiously. Okay. That being said, minus all pullbacks, the hourly is still overextended. We can summarize that. What does a 4-hour tell us? Take a look at TD sequential here. Big surprise here. We came up to a 6, 7, 8, and a 9. So we're about 36 plus 4, about 56 hours of continuation to the upside here. So really close to, actually it'd be more like 52, but it's still not a lot, right? It's egregious. That's too much. That being said, these little periods of consolidation is nice. It's very helpful. That is allowing for it to be a moderately healthy continuation. And in essence, we shouldn't experience a massive pullback because of that, because it is healthy, but it's also overextended as well, right? I know it seems kind of contradictory, but generally speaking, it could very well continue. We have to recognize that. But again, we look at all the data here. When RSI gets this overextended like we've seen in the past, what will happen next? Okay, so last time the RSI on the 4-hour, for example, was this high, was back in March 29th of 2022. What do you know? That was that shelf that we came all the way up and got rejected hard and came down. And there's a strong chance we're going to see a rejection at 19,500 and come down. So just personally thinking out loud, shorting from 19.5 to wherever seems like an appropriate consideration. Again, consideration, is it necessarily 100%? No, but this can only sustain for so long. I mean, you can't go up this long without some type of pullback, okay? So again, albeit I love what's Bitcoin's doing right now, I really think that it's due for a correction. So again, that's just kind of the standard stuff there, right? Once again, new money coming in the market, whole different story. There's a great chance it could continue. It has all the tried and true healthy qualities. It's just insanely overextended, and I like to trade into overextensions. That's just my personal feelings. That being said, take a look at the hourly here. We can kind of see that we are, oops, sorry, a little too much of a zoom there. We are at a 5 right now on TD sequential in this push. Okay, so hypothetically, we got another 4 more hours continuation. What do you know? 4 hours from now is 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Traditional markets are closed, basically post-market hours are closed, and we should experience some type of fluctuation based on the Eastern markets opening up tomorrow's trading day. That said, it's a weekend, 3-day weekend for the US markets, and we shouldn't experience a tremendous amount of volume coming into the market. What we should experience is some volatility. And what I mean by that is there's some profits that are going to be taken regardless if the traditional markets are closed or not. Okay, so I think this is going to be the point in which we're not going to see too much higher. This is going to be the shelf, in my personal opinion, and we should start seeing some lower lows and lower highs for at least a little while till we retest that 18.5 range. Okay, so I think 19.5 to 18.5 seems appropriate for a short position. Just thinking out loud. Again, I'm not telling you to do that. I think it's actually very risky if you were to. I recommend using isolated margin versus cross if you're going to do that. That's what I do personally, and I think it's a bit safer because if you do get liquidated, whoop-de-doo, if it keeps going up, right? At least you're protecting yourself. Okay, so again, that's kind of where we're at there in that regard. That being said, let's go ahead and see what the cloud tells us. So we're losing momentum here on the cloud. Conversion line's getting close to the baseline. Basically tells us the momentum is dissipating, which makes sense considering it's been overextended for some time. Lagging span is free and clear of price action, so that's all well and good. Hypothetically, another 24 hours from now, we'll get a sell signal for the price to go down. So my speculation is we're going to see some doji candles this weekend and a sell-off come Monday or Tuesday. At least, again, that's what I would like to see. I know. Call me an optimist, but that would be great if we saw that, right? But with the data we have right now, it's basically telling us to leave your long position open. Try not to short into this. If you're going to short, have multiple entries, and if you're going to long, make sure that you have tight targets. Same thing going here as well. We're above the lead. upper and lower. So technically the price comes back down, could very well bounce off that area or stay in that range and come back up. So again, this is kind of reaffirming the fact that 18.4, 18.5 is a support range. So I think that little area there will hold if the price comes back down, but it makes more sense for the price to come from 19.5 to 18.5 than it would be to continue higher from here, once again based on overextension. That's essentially what we're looking at here. So this to me is an overextension play. Everything screams bullish, but the overextension is basically telling us that we have to see a correction soon or we're going to have problems in the future. What I mean by problems is just, imagine something super, super tall. When something's really tall and it falls over, it's going to make a lot more a lot more damage is going to occur if that happens. The same thing with trading. It comes up too high too fast. It'll come back down, in an uncomfortable and unnatural way. We don't want that. This is a healthy continuation, so why not make it a nice little healthy correction? That'd be great, because then we can get that next leg up and gear up for the next. So anyways, regards to that, those are all things that I like to think about, but generally speaking, that's what we're looking at here. So I hope you learned something here today. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll look forward to the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.